I thought my daughter was just being cute when she said she wanted me to meet someone. I didn't know she had already given him my number. The first message came at 9:42 p.m. I think your daughter and I have something in common. That's when I realized the man texting me was her teacher. My heart didn't race. It dropped. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to make sense. It didn't. I'm sorry, who is this? I typed, even though I already knew. Daniel. I teach Ava's literature class. Of course he did. Ava loved literature. She talked about her teacher more than she talked about her friends. I just never imagined he'd be texting me. At this hour? I replied. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. I'm sorry if this is inappropriate. She asked me to. I sat up in bed. She asked him to? Before I could respond, there was a soft knock on my bedroom door. It opened slowly. Ava stood there in her oversized t-shirt, pretending she hadn't been waiting for my reaction. Did he text you? She asked. There it was. No guilt. No fear.
Look.
Just hope. You gave him my number?
Honey, look.
My voice wasn't angry. It was stunned. She nodded carefully. I told him you'd never do it yourself. Do what?
Honey, look.
Talk to someone. I felt exposed in a way I wasn't ready for. Back on my phone, another message appeared. She talks about you a lot. About how hard you work. About how you used to paint. I froze. Paint. I hadn't touched a brush in 3 years. How does she know that? I whispered. Ava stepped further into the room. Because I remember, she said softly. I didn't realize she had been watching me that closely. Why would you ask your teacher to text me? I asked her. She hesitated, then said something that hit deeper than I expected. Because he listens. I looked back at the phone. I'm really sorry if I crossed a line, Daniel texted. She just thinks you deserve to smile again. Smile again. As if I'd stopped. Maybe I had. The next morning at school pickup, I saw him differently. He never once mentioned replacing anyone. Never tried to rush intimacy. He simply showed up. Consistently. One afternoon, as we stood outside the school again, Ava ran ahead to talk to her friends. He looked at me carefully. I need to say something, he began. That sounds dangerous. I'm not trying to step into something I don't understand, he said. I like who you are when you're not pretending to be unbreakable. That hit. Because I had been pretending. For years. I don't want to complicate her life, I said quietly. I don't either, he replied. That's why I'm moving slowly. For the first time since my divorce, I didn't feel like someone was trying to win me. He was simply choosing me. There's a difference. One evening, as he walked me to my door, he didn't reach for my hand. He waited. That patience did more than any grand gesture could have. Inside, Ava looked up from the kitchen. You smiled again, she observed. I smile. Not like that.
He sat beside her.
Why did you really do this? I asked. She thought for a moment. Because I don't want you to think love is something that only happens once. That broke me more than anything else. I had taught her strength, independence, resilience. But somewhere along the way, I accidentally taught her that love ends and never returns. A week later, during another school pickup, he reached for my hand. Slowly, giving me time to pull away. I didn't. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't fireworks. It was steady, safe, real. Ava noticed immediately. She grinned like she had just solved a complex equation. That night, as I tucked her into bed, she looked up at me. Are you happy? She asked. I paused. For the first time in a long time, I didn't hesitate. Yes, I said honestly. She smiled. Good. That's all I wanted. Later, alone in my room, I picked up a paintbrush. Not because he told me to, not because she asked, but because I finally felt something again. Hope. And this time, I wasn't afraid of it. If this story touched something in you, If you've ever been afraid to try again, then maybe it's not too late. Like this video so more hearts can find it. Share it with someone who needs hope. And subscribe to Forbidden Hearts TV, where love is never simple, but always worth the risk.